thing that feels the loudest in my life right now is realizing how much of my life I spent emotionally surviving instead of actually feeling safe. And I don't think I fully understood that until now. Because when something becomes your normal for long enough, you stop questioning it. Really? Yes, sir, really. You stop asking whether it hurts you. You just adapt to it. And I think that's what I did for most of my life. Adapted to inconsistency, to emotional distance, to environments that made me feel like I always had to stay alert emotionally. I know that life is slowing down a little. I can finally feel it. I can finally feel how exhausted my mind and my body actually are. Because survival mode doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it just looks like overthinking every conversation, analyzing people's tone, feeling responsible for everyone else's emotions, staying quiet to avoid conflict. Guys, look at this dog. Feeling lonely around people who are supposed to feel familiar. And you grow up thinking that's normal. You think it's normal to always feel anxious, normal to constantly prepare yourself emotionally for disappointment, normal to never fully relax. But one day, you realize that your body was never actually at peace. You were just adapted to dysfunction. And that realization hurts. Because then you start seeing how long you have been carrying things that were never supposed to become part of you. A lot of us learned very early that love could disappear depending on somebody's mood, that emotional safety was inconsistent, that being understood was rare. So we become mature for our age. But honestly, a lot of that wasn't maturity. It was survival. It was learning how to read the room before speaking, learning how to shrink emotions down so nobody else becomes uncomfortable, learning how to expect less from people so disappointment wouldn't hurt as much. And after years of doing that, you don't even know what safety feels like anymore. You just know how to survive emotionally. And I think one of the hardest parts of healing is grieving how long suffering felt normal, grieving how long you thought anxiety was your personality, how long you blamed yourself for reactions that were created in environment that confused you emotionally, because not every wound leaves bruises people can see. Some wounds leave nervous systems that never learned how to rest, never learned how to trust people, never learned how to trust peace, never learned how to believe that love could exist without feeling attached to it. And I think that's where I am right now, trying to unlearn survival, trying to stop forcing myself to have everything figured out while I'm still healing from things that shaped me deeply, trying to understand that some people will never meet me emotionally, no matter how deeply I explain myself, and that hurts too, because sometimes you keep explaining yourself, hoping that people will finally understand your heart, when the truth is, some people do not have the emotional depth to hold it properly, and that's not always your fault. I'm also now realizing that I've been avoiding fully grieving the version of love I wanted from people who could never actually give it to me. And maybe because letting go of that hope feels painful, but holding on to it hurts too. So now, what I need more than anything else, a life that doesn't make my nervous system feel like it's constantly preparing for something bad to happen. A life where love doesn't feel unsafe. A life where love feels constant instead of confusing. And maybe healing starts there. Not in becoming perfect, not in suddenly having all the answers, but finally realizing that survival is not the same as living. And maybe awareness changes everything. Because once you can finally name what you shaped, you stop blaming yourself for the ways you had just to make it true. Because overthinking wasn't enough. Now my mind replays every conversation like it's trying to prevent pain before it happens again. Every silence feels loaded. Every shift in tone feels personal. Every small change feels like something is about to go wrong. And that's what survival does to people. It teaches them to stay emotionally prepared instead of emotionally present. But I'm slowly learning that I don't have to keep living like that. I don't have to earn rest. I don't have to explain my pain perfectly to deserve understanding. And I don't have to keep surviving environments that no longer feel safe to my soul. Maybe healing is teaching my body that peace is real, and even if I didn't grow up feeling it.